their strong stand against the Dom Kwabenya MP, Sarah Adwoa Safo. Adwoa Safo, in a letter addressed to the president, thanked him for relieving her of her duty as Minister of Gender and Social Protection, since it will afford her the opportunity to serve her constituents well. Mr. Adwoa observed the letter would now tie the hands of Parliament and cause both the NDC and the MPP not to trust which sides the lawmaker belongs.
Adwoa Safo is really spot on. She's a tactful politician. I indicated that whoever advised her to write a letter in that tone is very shrewd and a good politician for that matter. The tone of the letter is quite reconciliatory, and she's tactfully ensured that she does not incur the displeasure of the leadership of the party, as it were. There are others who think that she has certain information that is virtually what kept her on as a minister. And if that is the case and she's written something of that sort, I think that she's coming in with an olive branch. Now, that aside, her behavior and the letter has equally or will equally unsettle the minority as it stands now, because it is only time will tell if the letter, the tone of it, is a sincere one. We are yet to see whether, yes, she's not going to caucus with the minority. She will still caucus with the majority. But when it comes to voting and other things, probably if it's a secret one, nobody can tell. And that will also be informed by the position going forward of the majority, whether they still want her out or they will also accept the olive branch that she's brought. If she's going to stand independent, then the NDC will back her. And because it is tactically prudent that they back Adwoa Safo to win, because she's going to get sympathy vote. The economy is not good, and so people are really disgruntled and angry. You have many MPP faithfuls who wouldn't go and vote because they wouldn't want to vote for the NDC candidate. And so it is very dicey. The other thing too is that if she contests as independent and you have an MPP and NDC decides to contest, there is more likelihood that the NDC will scale through, because you will still have the disgruntled members who are against the status quo, and then you will have those who are opposed to her. They will have a split, and then the NDC candidate will sail through. Other than that, I think I will advise the MPP to tone down, because the economy is not good, and it's not a good time to have a by-election on your hands. They will lose miserably.
Well, let's bring you some background to the most recent development surrounding the Dom Kwabenya Member of Parliament.
Now, she failed to appear before the committee, although even before the cloud of uncertainty hanging over Sarah Adwoa Safo's head regarding her position as Member of Parliament for Dom Kwabenya.
That story. But Sarah Adwoa Safo, as you remember, was amongst 3 members of Parliament who failed to appear before the Privileges Committee. The 2 others, the Member of Parliament, Henry Korte, also Kennedy Japan, appeared before the Privileges Committee, but Sarah Adwoa Safo failed to appear before the committee. It is as a result of the absentee from Parliament. Let's take that story now.
Cloud of uncertainty hanging over Sarah Adwoa Safo's head regarding her position as Member of Parliament for Dom Kwabenya settles. She says her dismissal as Gender, Children and Social Protection Minister will now afford her the opportunity to better engage her constituents under whose mandate she is in Parliament in the first place. A letter from her to the President said, quote, "Cognizant of my duties to the 75,000 constituents who elected me, this development is opportune and will afford me more time to concentrate on my parliamentary responsibilities and constituency engagement, as well as consolidate the gains we have made as a government at the constituency level in our quest to break the 8, unquote. It would be recalled that before Parliament rose on July 28, 2022, the Speaker of the House, Alban Bagbin, was to give a ruling on the fate of Sarah Adwoa Safo as MP upon the recommendation of the Privileges Committee. She and 2 other members of Parliament were referred to the Privileges Committee for absenting themselves for more than 15 sitting days. Now, she failed to appear before the committee, although all available channels were used to reach out to her. The other 2 MPs, Ken Ejapong and Henry Quartey, were pardoned and asked to go and sin no more. But on Sarah Adwoa Safo's case, the Speaker said that he was deferring his ruling until the House reconvened later in October. Meanwhile, whereas the minority NDC on the Privileges Committee say she still needs to be afforded the opportunity to state why she absented herself all these days, the majority in Parliament, the NPP, are insistent that she should be sacked and her seat declared vacant. Her constituents are also sharply divided on whether or not she should be pardoned or kicked out by the Speaker of Parliament. So, despite her pronouncement to do her duties as an MP and engage her constituents, it looks as though the final verdict will lie with the Speaker of the House, Alban Bagbin. In her thank you letter to President Akufo-Addo, Sarah Adwoa Safo indicated that on Friday, the 29th of July 2022, she handed over all the official assets to the administrator of the ministry. Quote, "It is with profound gratitude that I express utmost appreciation to you for the opportunity to serve as minister in both terms of your government."
Let's take a step away from that, and government intends to petition the Economic and Organised Crime Office to investigate some 148,000 public sector workers who have multiple employee numbers on the Controller and Accountant General's database and prosecute those found culpable. The Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, who gave the hint, noted that government will not relent in its fight against corruption.
Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia was speaking at this year's Internal Audit Agency conference in Accra. He indicated that 112 million cedis has been saved after cleaning the payroll of the National Service Scheme and 320 million cedis of SNIT beneficiaries.
A report will, of course, be made to the prosecution authorities. We just should not find these anomalies that they should be punished and serve as a deterrent. We're building an ecosystem around data that allows us to find these anomalies and fight corruption.
The Director General of the Internal Audit Agency, Dr. Adwoa Safo, cited some irregularities in the Auditor General's report. He implicated some district assemblies and metropolitan and municipal agencies for financial irregularities and recommended their prosecution.
A rationalization will motivate us because anything external auditor would see, internal auditors have seen it 1 year before. And if government wants to fight corruption, government should resource internal auditors and you will see wonders.
This year's event seeks to mobilize and formulate new strategies to deal with corruption in the public sector.
In the Ashanti region now, the Regional Fire Service Command has begun investigations into a fire incident that claimed the lives of 3 at Oshim in the region. A pregnant woman who is 37 years old and her 2 sons were burnt to death in the tragic incident.
The deceased, Philomena Osei, who was 4 months pregnant, and her 7- and 9-year-old children couldn't escape the ravaging fire when it started around 11:30 p.m. The 3 got trapped in their 3-bedroom apartment when they were unsuccessful in their attempt to open the main door. Fortunately, one of the siblings, a 14-year-old who was sleeping in a separate room, managed to escape unhurt. Everything in the house was reduced to ashes within minutes. The cause of the fire is yet to be established, but some residents suspect arson.
This is not the first time it's happening. Someone once set the back of the net of one of the rooms ablaze, but it was detected quickly and quenched. So this one appears suspicious because how can 2 rooms catch fire at the same time?
The tragic incident thrown friends and families into a state of disbelief. Most of them are finding it difficult to accept the death of the three. So the Ghana National Fire Service has commenced investigation to unravel the exact cause of the fire. But the Regional Fire Service commander has been giving this advice to the public.
Most of the time, we always try to fortify our building to ensure that the thieves and the armed robbers will not get access. But like we all know, when there's also fire incidents, fire will sweep everything away. The thief will come, steal some and leave some for you. So in as much as we are trying to make sure we prevent them from entering into our buildings, we should also make alternative arrangements so that when things like this happen, we can have another exit to escape.
The bodies of the deceased have since been deposited at the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital morgue, awaiting autopsy. Ibrahim Abubakar, TV3 News, Oshim, Ashanti region.
In another sad development, 3 persons have been gunned down by identified gunmen at Boko in the Upper East region. The assailant reportedly attacked a Salon car heading from Binduri. The Boko Divisional Police Commander, Chief Superintendent Sidu Adamu, who confirmed the incident, said investigations have begun. The bodies of the victims have since been deposited at the Boko Presbyterian Hospital for preservation and autopsy. Away from that, economist and director of the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, Professor Peter Quartey, has bagged the increase in utility tariffs. He explains the utility companies will struggle to provide the services to the public if the tariff increases were not granted.
It's unfortunate consumers are overstretched, but it has to be done. You saw the utility companies were asking for about 200–300% increment, and we're giving less than 30%. If we continue subsidizing, selling utilities at such low prices, the system will crash. Now, what do? Should we suffer a little bit and ensure that the system operates, or we continue to push for lower tariffs and then the system crashes? I would opt for the other. And those who are really struggling to pay, some lifeline tariffs can be put in place for them so that the poor can be moved along. But I don't think we shouldn't increase price. Sometimes we wait 3, 4, 5 years before we come out to increase. Let's have gradual adjustments so that we don't feel it so significantly when that happens.
Now, former President John Dramani Mahama has asked government to seek compensation for victims of the Apiate explosion. He was reacting to a suggestion by the Deputy Land and Natural Resources Minister, Benito Usubio, who, at a town hall meeting, urged victims to resort to a class action.
At a town hall meeting on the Apiate explosion, the victims had appealed for state support in seeking compensation. However, a Deputy Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Benito Usubio, rather urged the victims to take a class legal action. The victims, during a visit by the former president, John Dramani Mahama, on Tuesday, August 16, catalogued the difficulties they are going through in their desire to seek compensation.
The livelihood of the victims of the explosion is very important. They've lost everything. President Akufo-Addo needs to intervene in order for them to get their compensation. We shouldn't ask them to leave it to the court to decide.
The Prisiahuni Valley Municipal Chief Executive, Dr. Isaac Jamani, revealed that 6 victims are still in critical condition.
For now, I can say there were 6 critical conditions. 6 seriously injured. The other ones are minor ones. Review. And as initially, other organizations were buying MIST camp. Every year, also MIS facility. For the meantime,
Member of Parliament for Pristiahoni Valley, Wisdom Kujo, appealed for more support for the Apiate Relief Committee to respond to their immediate needs. The former president donated 500 bags of rice, 100 boxes of tinned tomatoes, 100 boxes of canned fish, 100 mattresses, and 5,000 cedis cash to the committee.
Now, the Greater Accra Regional Police Command had to step in to calm down members of the Commonwealth Hall of the University of Ghana who had earlier gathered to express their frustration about sanctions to their hall master and tutor who have been relieved of their duties. This follows clashes between the Commonwealth and Mensa Saba halls, which led to the destruction of school and private property. Judith Tano has more in this report.
It all started when students became aware of the sanctions slapped on their hall. Well, currently at the Commonwealth Hall here in the University of Ghana, where there's heavy police presence. This is as a result of the fact that a few minutes ago, students had gathered at the front of the hall, charging and venting their displeasure on the fact that they had been sanctioned by university authorities, while their hall master as well as their senior tutor had been relieved of their duties after the clash between Commonwealth Hall and the Mensa Saba Hall, which caused a lot of destruction to school property. We have been told that they are currently in a meeting with the police commander, trying to settle out issues and calm down these students. After a few hours, the meeting finally ended. Yet, the police refused to disclose the details of the meeting.
We are here to ensure that our officers are operating very well. Took the opportunity to also interact with the halls. From here, we are moving towards our hall to also find out how our men are operating. As for what has gone on there, it's an internal police interaction. We can't mention anything yet.
Although students of Commonwealth Hall did not comment, some students of Mensa Saba Hall say the sanctions on the halls are a step in the right direction.
This vandalism has been in existence for like God knows how long. And I think it's about time that, it's something is done about it. So I feel like the sanctions that have been meted to the Commonwealth and then the Saba, it's very welcome.
That is the best way to go, because you can't descend all the way from the hill and come to us here, come and cause harm and destroy things and think you can go freely. This is an institution governed by rules and regulations. So we have to obey the rules and go according to that. Putting those sanctions to them, that is the best way to go.
The sanctions do not only affect both rival halls, but extend to all other halls, bringing the activities to a halt. Students are, however, not happy with this new development.
I think last semester, that's when we resumed activities. And so the sanctions affecting everybody, I don't think it's fair. It should be reviewed, because all of us are not supposed to, suffer for something that we're not involved in.
That is too much to bear for me to say, because the fights have been happening way before. So I don't think it's the whole week that is the causal factor of what is actually happening. So they are going too far with the sanctions on the whole week.
For now, the bus here at the Mensa Saba Hall is yet to return, and the police have been towing away some of the damaged vehicles as a result of the clash to the Legon police station. For now, they are unable to tell us what exactly ensued during the closed-door meeting between both halls, but security has been beefed up in both halls. My name is Judith Tano, TV3 News, University of Ghana, Legon.
Let's bring you some international news now, where Kenya's Raila Odinga on Tuesday rejected the results of last week's presidential election that delivered victory to his rival, Deputy President William Ruto. Defeated Odinga calls presidential election outcome a travesty and hence of going to court after an anxious day. Long wait for the results of the August 9 polls. Ruto was declared the winner, narrowly beating Odinga after a largely peaceful voting process. The outcome was a triumph for a candidate who shook up the East African nation's politics by appealing to struggling Kenya's economic concerns instead of their ethnic allegiances. But the announcement did little to calm nerves, with the election commission itself split over the outcome, and demonstrators in Odinga's strongholds pelting stones and setting fire to ties. There's more news on our website, 3news.com. Please do well to log on. My name is Noble Crosby and Cookie Bella. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
No, not bad. Not bad at all. Everyone okay in the rest of the world?
Yes, everybody's
You're
fine.
sure about that?
Yeah.
I thought you'd say hello to Kenyans, especially with what's happening. Maybe you'd want to, leave them with a word or two.
I mean, it's good that this time around they're trying to remain civil. The coming days are very important, though. Hopefully, they keep it like that or they become better.
I hope so. Cookie, do you buy this message he's giving to the Kenyans? He didn't greet them first of all. We don't know what time it is in Kenya. No, but I thought you'd tell us.
They are friends already.
They are friends already?
Yes. We just said hello to them this morning, so.
I see.